Okay, so I figured since 2 of my 4 Halloween videos are Bleach based, not only that, not even horror based when it comes to Bleach, I figured to add another video to that roster for October. So these are video games that aren't technically horror games, but they have horror elements, whether it be a single level, lovecraftian, unnerving design, and or atmosphere, unsettling story, and etc. Anyway, I'm Red Infinity, and this is 6 non-horror horror games. Let's jump into it. Normally when people think about Gears of War, they usually think about big, buff men sweating with chainsaws in their hands, cutting the opposition down. And you know it kind of is, but still. This franchise has some unfucking nerving character design when it comes to the enemies. Like, the locusts are just horrifying to look at, and don't even get me started on the Berserker. Wait, scratch that. The Berserker's the main reason why the game is here. The introduction of the Berserker in the game is just no. And the battle afterwards is tense, insanely unnerving, especially with how claustrophobic the room you have to fight it in is. And that's not even the last time you encounter the Berserker. Throughout the game, you get to encounter them a couple more times, and every time, it's heart-pounding to have to face this thing. But even with the Berserker, there's a couple just story elements, certain moments in Gears of War that just hits really hard. When you walk across the city after it was glassed, everyone turned into dust. It's just so fucking sad and creepy. Gears of War is at its best served as not only more or less body horror, but also story horror, emotional horror. It's realistic to a default, which just is one of the worst ways to go about a horror series, as it's one of the most relatable and arguably scariest types of horror. I get to talk about Bioshock. The depth and the nuanced themes of Bioshock helps its overall horror, as the horror of Bioshock but was. Rapture was a utopia, although now it's a ruins of its former self. And that's the true horror. Every enemy in this game was a person, as somebody, but now, not so much. It's a sad but truthful way to look at the world. At some point, it falls, no matter what you do. You can't prevent it, it's an inevitability. Rapture is just an example of it, but sooner on. Of course, that's not the only reason, it's just plenty fucking creepy. Like, holy shit, Bioshock just has so many goddamn things, like character designs, jump scares, environments. It's just no. Bioshock's horror is psychological and personal, down to the T. Remember when I mentioned single levels? Well, that was for Max Payne. Because Max's house is... oh god. Max Payne is an incredible, campy, and stupid franchise, but when Max Payne gets real, it fucking gets real. Max, after getting drugged up, reveals the most tragic day of his life. The day he came home to his newborn baby and wife's cold, dead bodies. Having to traverse a dark, bloody area while listening to the cries of a child is haunting. Again, other than these nightmare sequences, Max Payne is just a kind of over-the-top revenge story. But, damn, first playing Max Payne, it just caught me off guard, and in my opinion, it makes this game a pseudo-horror game, just by proxy of those nightmare sequences. I was contemplating having this one on the list, because with the way it just switches up at the end, it's possible that this was meant to be a horror game, but then I remembered, I'm a nobody, and like, no one gives a shit what I do with my list, so fuck it, Forestia. So, a traditional educational kids game is the last thing you expect to be on a list like this. But its ending is just an additional horror. After being told about a dragon, the game has you go into the red version of the world. It's just surreal. Not necessarily horrifying as it is just unsettling, but damn, imagine being a kid playing this game and just get hit with this moment. It's hard to say if this was meant to be a before its time subversion of the exploitation type games or an unintentional creepypasta like classic come to life. But what I can tell you is I think this classifies pseudo horror just with how out of nowhere creepy it is. So Batman having horror elements was kind of inevitable. I mean, after all, Batman is a rich goth boy who dresses up like a bat and beats up the physically and mentally ill. Ranging from skin conditions, serial killers, and whatever the fuck Bloom is, there's no shortage of disturbing elements that faces the Dark Knight. Batman Arkham Asylum engages with the unsettling more than any other Batman game. There is a lot of different moments that validate Batman AA being here. Scarecrow's fear toxins, Crocodile's lairs, Arkham Asylum Penitentiary, and the Arkham Patient recording tapes. But I think those are separate pieces to a larger puzzle. As Arkham Asylum is horrifying as an entirety. I mean, after all, when you beat the game, it's empty. It's isolating. It's cold. It's unsettling. Haunting, I dare say. While traveling the map with nothing there to engage with, you see stories being told, whether it be small or stuff that you have faced. It all comes together to make this one area, this one map, terrifying, knowing all that you know happens here. I mean, it's a game about bugs. What the fuck did you expect? Now, visually, except for the occasional NPCs, the game looks fine and non-creepy. But Hollow Knight, when it wants to be uncomfortable, fuck, it is uncomfortable. Vast majority of the whole horror factor is based off the atmosphere, which certain areas is just strong. When it comes to place like the abyss, deepness, there is an underlying aura of loneliness and claustrophobia. And there are just some NPCs that are just made to make you not okay. Nosk, No Eyes, The Shades are just a handful of examples. And that's not even getting into the stories or the lore, the overarching themes. All that together creates a very unnerving game when you look deep into it. To go over everything that led to Hollow Knight being on this list would take a very long time, and I mean, I'm not in the mood to make that video right now, so who knows, maybe I'll make a Hollow Knight is horrifying as fuck video. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was very fun to make, despite me doing it in like under an hour, so you know. Anyway, I'm Red Eye Infinity, and this was 6 non-horror video games. Chala.
Life's hard now that you're gone. I wish I could've got a chance to tell you goodbye, but now that you're gone, I just wanna die. I don't know if I wanna stay alive. I was hoping to make